Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown with Bethany. I'm Bethany Braun Silva, and today my guest, I'm so excited about it because I am a huge Sex and the City and Just Like That fan. And so we have Nicole Ari Parker on the podcast today. Nicole plays Lisa Todd Wexley on And Just Like That, but she's also a phenomenally prolific actress and has been in so many projects that I absolutely adore. We love a multifaceted woman on The Breakdown with Bethany. And Nicole is the owner of Gymwrap, which is a line of headbands for active lifestyles, working out. And we're going to get to hear all about the inception for that brand and what's coming up. They have a lot of new products coming down the line, and I'm really excited for everyone who watches this podcast and listens to this podcast to take a look because this is a true passion project of Nicole's. We're also going to be talking about parenting, of course, how she and her husband navigate their busy lifestyles and raising their beautiful children. This was such a fun one. Nicole is such a genuine, warm-hearted, lovely, lovely woman. So please take a listen. I appreciate the time because I know you're in the middle of filming and Just Like That season 3, and that's probably keeping you so incredibly busy. But this is also a podcast for moms. We serve an audience of moms, and we love a multifaceted woman on this podcast. You are obviously a prolific actress, but you also are a businesswoman. Gymwrap is your business baby, right? So tell us all about the inspiration for it and like how the inception, all of that.
I love talking about this because it's like, you know, my dad once said, like, everyone got the idea for the straw at the same time. But all of us can talk ourselves out of our good ideas because it's so overwhelming to start your own business. But um, I just had this idea when the kids were really little. My hair was like a big deal. I had to like plan when I was going to the salon. My husband was a new father with me. And so we were like trying to he would, our only time to hang out pretty much was like go to the gym together or go for a walk. And I would opt out of like our 1 hour that week because I also used another hour to blow dry my hair or go get it done. And I was like, there's something wrong with this picture. Like, why am I so afraid to ruin my hairstyle and take care of myself? And be with my husband. So I made a prototype. I was like, I had this idea and I just cut up all this like exercise material. My daughter, she was little, she was helping me. And I didn't know anything about business. This is another thing I think moms should know and not feel intimidated by, that I had to find out how to get a manufacturer, how to get a patent. Um, I had multiple business partners. I had to pitch my idea to different retailers. And here we are. And 11 years later, I'm full blown business with spring colors.
But I loved what you said, what your father told you, because I think that does stop a lot of women in particular from pursuing a business idea or a business passion. We feel like not only who's going to want it, but maybe there's like a million ways for doing it, and why is my way going to be unique? And um, it is such a beautiful story. And so I'm also wondering, because we want to, maybe prep moms in business a little bit, what other struggles have you faced when getting Gymwrap off the ground?
Just really the struggle has been well, I would say were my own nerves. I was very nervous to like roll my cart in Arkansas to pitch to a rep at Walmart, that this needed to be on their shelves. Even as an actor, I was doing something that I was so personally invested in, and it's just your own fears, really. Um, and then patience with having a team, like trying to find a manufacturer and explaining why it has to be 3 layers, and then 16 prototypes later finding the thing that is exactly what you want. There is a process and a patience that's needed. and anxiety management that's needed during that process. But again, I was steadfast. I finally had a great team, and I just didn't give up. My husband also helped me a lot. Um, and so, yeah.
I love that. I know that he's part of your husband is part of the business. We see him with the male version of the head with the of the gym wrap. So I think that's really fantastic. How is it working with each other? I like to joke that my husband and I can't even paint a room together. But we can, so it's like the little things that we just like,
Yes.
make sure, okay.
Oh no, he's amazing. He's been one of my biggest supporters. Yeah, and outside of colors, and men wear pink too, the gym wrap is really for everyone. And he was actually one, as a Black woman, I was thinking about my hair and women with my hair type. And of course, I wanted to make it highly absorbent. So it sold to multiple races. But what he was instrumental in doing, I had a little bit of money, just like a little tiny bit of money to like risk doing, media buys. That's like when you buy like a little infomercial. So I made my own little commercial, and then I wanted to put it on, but I could only afford like the 2 o'clock in the morning slot. So I had a little bit after being on some time slots. I bought a little time on the tennis channel, and it was my biggest return. And it's multiple racial. I mean, tennis players are tennis players, men, women, Black, white, Latina, Bulgarians, Croatian, everything. And it was my biggest return because athletes, outdoor athletes, loved how absorbent it was. And it made me feel good.
I love that. And I want to sort of go back to the inspiration for the gym wrap. And you mentioned that, you were sort of, I don't want to say sacrifice, but choosing not to spend the time with your husband, not to work out because there was this sort of like self-care element. And I do think, again, as women and mothers, we tend to sort of sacrifice, our self-care, putting ourselves first. And it's lovely that you were able to create such an amazingly innovative product to support that self-care practice. But how else are you doing that? Are you making time for yourself? You have grown children. Well, I think one is in college, right? And then the other one,
17 and 18, yeah.
so, it's still, it's just, it never ends. Mine are
I
eight.
mean, Sophie just turned 19. Oh my God. Don't
Okay,
remind me.
that's okay. I mean, you're in a safe place to forget your kids' ages, trust me. But like
Yes, I had a birthday.
how do you manage the self-care? I love to hear from all different perspectives here, different women, how they're managing time for themselves.
Honestly, my self-care now that I'm back shooting third season, and even with Sophie being in college last year, she's home for the summer. Most of my self-care happens at night. When everything's settled, I do the face regimen that I want to commit to. I do the deep conditioner if that's the night for that. I do all my prayers, my journaling. It's this quiet time that I've carved out in the busyness of my life.
I love that. And your character on And Just Like That, and I'm not going to ask really about the show. I know you have to be incredibly tight-lipped, but Lisa Todd Wexley is so um steadfast in her commitment to her career and herself, and it's been such an inspiration, I think, for women of all ages. And are there mirrors there between the character you play and yourself?
I think now that the kids are older, I feel safer. Like this job that shoots in New York City, where I am right now, my kids are at home in LA. I think it gave me more confidence to say yes to a job like this. But in the beginning, I took them everywhere. Like Sophie, I mean, Boris was on tour doing a play like all over this America, and he had Sophie and our nanny with him, and I was still breastfeeding Nicholas, and I was shooting two movies back to back, and I had Nicholas with me and my mom. So you make it work somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
I,
they've been everywhere with me, like with both of us. Traveling, the car seats, like we just I don't know. And we're going on our 19th wedding anniversary next week.
well,
So
congratulations.
I
That's
think something about just trying to stay together all the time was is part of it. Like we both wanted to be parents and be married and also have jobs. So we just didn't overwhelm ourselves. And our nanny is the same nanny. I mean, I say nanny, but the kids are adults. She's really my nanny at this point. I love you, Rosie.
I love that. I do feel like the nannies are a lot of the time there for the parents, not the kids. Sometimes the kids are just doing just fine, but it's us who
Yes.
need the help. So
Yes.
I love that you're giving your nanny a shout out. Um, and I know with businesses, like especially product-based businesses, where, even though you have an incredibly like amazing, product, there's always room for evolution and growth. So I'm wondering what's next for Gymwrap. Do you have is it keeping you creative? Do you have ideas coming down, that different ways
Well,
to
yes, I've created different sizes. I listen to my customers. I have the perfect width, the level of stretch. But I also have socks, Bethany. They are the best socks in the world. I have gear. I have pants with side pockets. Everything is soft and yummy. Yes. Go on gymrep.com and you'll see it all there.
I love it. And did you start out thinking this would be like a huge lifestyle brand? Or, I mean, or like,
No, no, I didn't. I just wanted to make a sweatband for the in between times. And that same year, the Surgeon General, Dr. Regina Benjamin at the time, had just put out a report about women's health. And in the Black community, they were really talking about the percentages of preventable illnesses that my community like is susceptible to. They were preventable with diet and exercise. So the level of heart attacks that we were having and strokes that we were having, and it really affected me. And that same year, I got to meet her, but that same year, my daughter was taking ballet class, and I had gone to the grocery store to get a coffee around the corner, and the girl that was always there wasn't there, and her picture was on the cash register, and I'm like, where is she? And she passed away, and from a stroke, and she was 27. And I got very choked up, and I looked, she was so beautiful, and I think about how done her hair was in her photograph. Like, her hair, and sometimes our hair or our makeup is like the only thing we can do to feel good, and because we don't make time for sauteing the vegetables and going for a power walk, we don't make time for going to the gym. We think we can't afford a gym membership, but exercise is free. People ask, how do I commit? I don't really, I'm not a gym rat, but I feel like it dawned on me, I can roll out of bed in my t-shirt and underpants and do 20 push-ups, 20 squats, 20 sit-ups, 20 lunges, and jump rope downstairs. And I've done a complete workout. Our health is free in a lot of cases. And yeah, so it's really touched me how it's become a tool in women's fitness toolbox.
Yeah, and you mentioned
I know
that.
that's a very long answer, but I just wanted to like remind us of that there's a way to get it in.
Yeah. I do think that's so incredibly important. And we did touch on the women sort of moms, and the increased rate that women of color, face heart attack and stroke. It's pretty glaring. So I'm wondering, and I know you said you listen to customer feedback when it comes to, ideating on new products and things like that, and that this really did come from a need that you saw not only for yourself but your community. But has there been other feedback as far as like, seeing how this has changed women's exercise routines and their self-care? Have you connected with any customers like that?
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback about it's helped me feel like I can go work out now, or it saved my edges, or my athlete customers are like, oh my God, like volleyball. We live in Manhattan Beach, so there's a lot of volleyball. Like, my volleyball player customers are like, I was always wiping my forehead off, and my bangs were in my face, and my headbands always slipped off. And this is the greatest thing ever. It just fills my heart to do what I wanted it to do.
Love that. I love that. It's always such an important, impactful thing to find out like the why behind a business. And I think this is you've
Yeah.
really just like shown such a beautiful light on your why. So thank you so much for that. I did want to, I mentioned I have a 12-year-old. We're sort of like staring down the barrel of teen years. You said you have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. And I know there's some big transitions here, like with parenting. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? I know like I think we're in this funny space of like people are talking about not only like women getting older but like raising older kids for it feels like almost like for the first time, right? So can you talk to us a little bit about like the transition of parenting teens as opposed to younger children, how it's been in your family?
Well, yeah, I mean, gosh, like I would kind of had a no nonsense mom and dad, and they still are no nonsense. So like I had to like make my bed, and it- certain times I remember my mom had a housekeeper around when she was working a lot, but the housekeeper wasn't allowed to clean my room or my bathroom. Like I had to like scrub the tub, the toilet, do my laundry, make my bed, iron my school uniforms. My dad taught me how to shine my shoes. Like I have parents born in the 40s. So by the 70s and 80s, like I knew how to like do a lot of stuff. And I really wanted my kids to have that. And but I was raising kids with cell phones and computers and access to information. So I had to like adjust all this stuff and the new consciousness around letting them have time to express themselves. And so it was like a mashup of old school and new school and um, monitoring this overwhelming cell phone information. That was a big dance for me. And I just figured out how to do it. Like, you know, just exposing them to things and talking to them at dinner time. And um, I think every mom has her own improvisational way of doing that. But I think that monitoring the phones was a big thing for me. And because I wanted them to think for themselves, I didn't give them cell phones till they were 12.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, that's and we're
And
so that's
yeah,
so important, right? To like monitoring the social media, the technology, all of that. So it sounds like you're a little ahead of the game there. That's
yeah. I
good.
mean, now they're full on, but they're not even really crazy about the phones. They just talk on like a lot of like my daughter has like 5 friends on the phone all the time. I think that's kind of cute, whatever. But um, with a 12-year-old, now I think the more we keep them verbal and processing, because they're getting mean girl stuff, they're getting self body image type stuff at that age. Just I would tell your readers and viewers like go ahead and like go in their room and talk about nothing and just see, to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening with your baby.
I love that. That is such simple but profound advice. I think sometimes we have almost like I do that. I have this with my own children, like almost like imposter syndrome, like as their mother, like. But it's so true. Like we're in control, and I think it's important
Yeah.
take that back, especially when we're feeling not in control. And I'm also curious because you and your husband had such busy schedules as working actors and professionals traveling all over the world. Did you guys how would you describe your parenting styles? Like were you guys always on the same page? Like were there some, as you just mentioned, he was one time on tour and had one kid, you had another kid. How did you guys stay in communication when it came to raising the kids?
Um, he's the nice guy. But we had the same values. I mean, our he's from Germany. His mom's German and his dad's Ghanaian, West African. And, you know, even though he was born in a whole nother world, we were born with the same kind of generation of parents. So we had this thing that was very similar baseline of like creating stability, cooking the food, and like washing your face and going to bed and then make up your bed, make your bed when you wake up. Like, so there was still this old fashioned kind of baseline that we were the same, but like I was definitely the, why are the towels on the bathroom floor?
Yeah.
He'd pick up the towels. He'd be like, guys, come on, and I'd be like screaming like they had committed like a crime. But yeah.
That's really
The
great.
baseline's the same, but I'm definitely the more dramatic, theatrical.
It's a good balance.
It's a nice balance.
it sounds like a great balance. I absolutely love
They send
watching
me
it.
memes. They send me memes every now and then
Right. And I
of
have to
that mom.
say, I feel I don't know you personally, but I do get that you get some of that feeling about a family, right? That like you really do. And I just looking at you and both your beautiful children and your husband, it's just it's really nice to see. And now you've sort of confirmed it all. Nicole, thank you so much for the time. Let's give Gymwrap one more plug. Where
Oh, thank you.
yeah, go tell us everything.
Yeah, gymwrap.com, new spring colors for men and women and children. And Bethany, we're going to send you a care package. So make sure you give Nev your info.
I'm gonna be decked out head to
Yes.